Hello and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. And joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komi Akere. And of course, Abdullah Ajia on Afcon updates and Benny Adams on the business news segments. Remember, you can watch this podcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. The federal government has implored the Nigerian military and other security agencies to intensify efforts at containing the multi-dimensional security challenges in the country. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the charge at the induction ceremony of two TK-129 attack helicopters and a King Air 360I aircraft at Nigeria Air Force Base in Makadi. Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu, recalled the commissioning and induction of 4 additional Diamond 62 surveillance aircraft into the arsenal of the Nigerian Air Force about 2 months ago, saying it is a symbol of the government's enduring commitment to the ideals of patriotism and investment in the nation's security. The acquisition of the helicopters and aircraft had become necessary to improve the strategic use of air power in combating terrorism, insurgency and other security challenges across the nation, urging the nation's security forces to step up their game to combat efficiency of the Nigerian Air Force in addressing contemporary security challenges, not only with the shores of Nigeria but also in the West African region.
That coordination amongst our security agencies has greatly improved, especially in recent months. However, there is no room for celebrations until we put an end to the security lockdown, until we can bring our troops back to their own localities, and until we can free up resources for our critical economic expansion program. As you may be aware, we remain committed to sustaining our investments in soft and physical infrastructure, social security, MSME empowerment, and other growth enablers. We are also pursuing a $1 trillion economy in the next few years, which can only be realized if we achieve a of 2 million barrels of crude oil per day as soon as possible.
Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, thanked the federal government for the provision to enable the Nigerian Air Force to acquire 7 brand new aircraft within 6 months of his administration. He disclosed that the Air Force is currently overhauling its operational platforms, equipment and the entire environment to improve its efficiency and service delivery. The Nigerian Navy, government officials and maritime industry leaders are putting hands on deck and mapping new strategies for a safer and more secure maritime environment that will underpin Nigeria's economic growth and stability. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports.
An urgent gathering convened by the Chief of the Naval Staff with government officials, naval experts and industry leaders. The goal? To take proactive measures against the menace of crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism and other maritime crimes.
Despite that we have had steady decline in the rate of crime in our maritime environment, leading to the delisting of Nigeria from the list of piracy-prone nations since 2022. We've also had significant rise in oil production in the last 6 months, but Nigeria has not been able to meet with its OPEC quota. Our collective effort, therefore, is required to create a conducive environment for increased production and increased economic activities.
Industry leaders, including representatives from major shipping companies and port authorities, as well as government officials, agree cooperation is the way to go.
For us to foster understanding, collaborations.
Strategy in place, the parties rise from the meeting, resolving to take swift action against criminal elements while ensuring that the laws align with international standards and are conducive to prosecuting criminals in a court of law. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
And now to the legislature. Plenary at Senate today was held behind closed doors to discuss matters connected to the challenge of insecurity. There are indications that the Senate may this Wednesday host service chiefs for interactions on the state of security in Nigeria. Meanwhile, Senate has observed a minute's silence in honor of late Senator Bukar Abar Ibrahim, former governor of Yobe State.
Senator Bukar Abar Ibrahim died 2 days ago. The passing of late Senator Bukar Abar Ibrahim is a great loss, not only to his family, but to us, the people of Yobe State, and indeed Nigeria as a whole.
It's unfortunate that he has died at a time that his services are still required by the country. A personal loss to the Nigerian Senate, to the National Assembly, to the good people of Yobe State, and to Nigeria as a whole.
He was a member of the Nigerian Senate for 12 years. And to the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to immediately open the national food reserves as part of short-term measures to cushion the effect of food inflation and high cost of living in the country. The Green Chamber, at resumption of sectoral debates during plenary, sought answers from the Ministers of Finance and Budgets, as well as the Governor of the Central Bank and Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service on measures to revamp the nation's economy. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen has details.
Plenary begins with lawmakers expressing worry over high cost of living and low purchasing power of Nigerians, compounded by foreign exchange fluctuations.
Cost of staple foods and other relevant ingredients increased and escalated by almost 500%.
The people are sad, the country is not happy. And the primary purpose of government, including all of us here sitting, is to bring joy and happiness to Nigerians.
The nation's economic and financial managers are admitted into the hallowed chamber to shed light on the state of the economy.
What measures are being taken to improve the business environment and attract private sector investment? Are these people coming through the CBN to get foreign exchange to import these things that you have lifted?
The value of other currencies across Africa have been largely stable.
Taking turns, they acknowledge the urgent need for inflation management and price stability.
When you attack food production, raise food production, you bring down the price of food, you bring down inflation, you get a chance to bring down interest rates, and there lies the road to investment.
We will overcome the challenge of the moment, and we be on our path to sustain economic growth.
Inflationary pressures are expected to decline in 2024 due to the CBN's inflationary targeting policy, aiming to rein in inflation to 21.4%.
We are not going to increase any tax considering the situation and welfare of our people.
Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu is emphatic that revamping the economy requires deliberate measures. The House received reports of budget defense from its committees on police affairs and customs. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And away from the legislature, African Development Bank says Jigawa State has become a reference point not only for other states in Nigeria but African countries in a bid to achieve the World Bank's Feed the Africa initiative and end food importation from outside the continent. This was when the World Bank's team paid a working visit to the state in support of its agricultural revolution geared towards addressing the menace of poverty and hunger. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
The World Bank is supporting Nigeria through the National Agricultural Growth Scheme, and Jigawa State is receiving the support to realize its Agro-Pocket Development Program. The Jigawa Agricultural Revolution being pursued by the Pro-Agricultural Administration of Umar Namadi in collaboration with the federal government is implementing the cultivation of about 55,000 hectares of wheat farming across the state. This is aimed at curbing the problem of hunger and poverty, as well as engaging the youth to contribute to the economic developments of the state and the country, while also pursuing the realization of national food security.
The agricultural revolution in Jigawa is a commitment we have made to the people of Jigawa State. and we are ready to fulfill that commitment. I think we are the first state in Nigeria that we have signed performance bond with all our commissioners.
Sir, we have a lot of young people in Nigeria. We have to look for opportunities for them along the whole value chain, from service providers to aggregation to even extension. We must look for opportunities for young people.
That production of wheat alone is going to be valued at $150 million to the benefit of the farmers.
If we can demonstrate that wheat is growable in Nigeria, then we can extend the same model to other crops.
Jigawa is aiming to cultivate 150 hectares of wheat production next year to boost production of the commodity for the states and the country at large. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Skira, NTA News.
Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Academy, Wale Adun, is leading Nigeria's economic team in the negotiations on increased investments in the country's energy and agriculture sectors and considering increased financing for micro, small and medium enterprises with the German government. Benny Adams reports that agreements are already being reached by both parties.
Are steps to continue the economic cooperation between Africa's largest economy, Nigeria, and Europe's largest economy, Germany. Issues on the table borders on reaching agreements on the exchange of skills and talents between both countries, in addition to planned investments in renewable energy, agriculture, and access to finance for MSMEs with particular interest in women doing business.
We are interested in growing markets, so some 90 German companies are already active here in Nigeria, and one reason is that Nigeria has so many creative young people, and that is what companies like to have and why they are here.
The President is highly committed to ensuring that the economy turns around, job creation, reduction of poverty or poverty alleviation, inclusiveness, and all of this geared towards increasing both capital investment in the country.
The next time we'll get together will be around May, and by that time we hope to be able to complete more agreements and arrange actual financings and interactions between Germany and Nigeria.
On the negotiating team for Nigeria is Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, as well as the Minister of Women Affairs, all engaging the German government towards getting the best deal for Nigeria. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
European Union Ambassador to Nigeria and the ECOWAS, Emmanuela Isepi, has announced a €5 million investment for two of Nigeria's major parks to strengthen security and conserve biodiversity. The EU ambassador said this while interfacing with the Minister of Environment and agencies under the ministry on developing and implementing a roadmap for Nigeria's circular economy. Charles Alpha reports.
The ambassador and some of the EU member states before COP28 made commitments to take the leading role in mobilizing action for the implementation of outcomes of the global events for Nigeria. They are here now in fulfillment of their promises. Nigeria has already pledged commitment to the European Commission and Emirates on tripling renewable capacities and doubling energy efficiency. It is at the forefront of developing its carbon pricing system and green bond development. It is these steps that Nigeria has taken to mitigate impacts of climate change that the EU ambassador and its member states are impressed with and have decided to further invest more to boost its forest security and biodiversity conservation challenges.
To continue our support to the Gashaka National Park in Taraba. So it's 3.5 million euros for your information that will go fund for Cross River National Park and 1.5 million for Gashaka Gumti National Park.
Nigeria has three problems in the forest. Number one, you have the poachers. Number two, you have the loggers. And number three, you have the bandits. They are all in the forest. So that's why we need support.
The circular economy, the context of Nigeria, we should not just bring Europe best practices, American best practices into work.
The European Union have also promised to sustain areas of intervention that would help Nigeria meet up its obligation to the United Nations. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The presidential 001 flight touched down in Abuja at about 9 o'clock this evening. He was received by a delegation of top government officials led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. The president had left the Nigeria's capital city on January 24 for his first break since assumption of office. You're watching the Network News. More reports. Thanks for being there. The Economic Community of West African State ECOWAS says it is following the unfolding political events in Senegal, advising against any action or statement that may contravene the country's constitution or destabilize the peace. In a communique, the ECOWAS Commission encourages the political class to take urgent steps to restore the electoral calendar in accordance with the Senegalese constitution, urging law enforcement agencies to protect the fundamental rights of all citizens. The largest television network in Africa, the NTA, is taking center stage in upholding core national values and deepening the sense of security and consciousness of Nigerians. This is coming as the Director General NTA, Salih Abdulhamid Dembos, reads out the collaborative mandate of media and security at the National Defense College Lecture Series. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, the largest TV network in Africa, was established in 1977 to provide an independent and impartial television service for reception within Nigeria and beyond. With educative and entertaining programs, 127 stations spread in different senatorial districts. Blessed with seasoned broadcasters, the Pioneer TV station has for the past 47 years been the pride of many due to its wide-reaching network, diverse content and adaptability to changing and challenging times. This value attracted the National Defense College, Nigeria's apex military training institution, to invite NTA's Director General to deliver a lecture on information dissemination and national unity, with emphasis on NTA's perspective.
What we do mostly in NTA is to manage information. We have it. We are privy to information. But do you want to give out all the information you have without thinking about the unity of the country, without thinking of the precaution, without thinking of whether this will trigger reactions in other parts of the country?
Issues raised include citizen journalism, patronage of private TV stations, national unity in broadcasting, objectivity, and the new media.
Today it is about development journalism that will play, not yellow journalism, not guerrilla journalism. We put things in perspective, weigh issues, and that is the in thing globally.
Among the salient issues raised during the lecture is NTA's respect for responsible broadcast and national security, a core value also shared by members of COS 32. From the National Defense College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Delivering efficient service for value addition that is beneficial to Nigerians signifies the paradigm shift in Nimasa's approach to fulfilling its mandate to the people. This is chronicled in a book titled Service Charter, indicative of promises to stakeholders in the maritime sector. Vivian Iziadife witnesses the book unveiling in Abuja.
This is no ordinary book. It's a compendium of Service Charter of Nimasa. This gathering is here to witness the start of the book, which will now serve as a compass for Nimasa in service delivery.
We redefine the service so that we can achieve that performance bond and the promises made can be delivered.
As the name implies, the Service Charter and Service Redefined contained basic information on the services and standards of service that customers can now expect from Nimasa and how to make complaints or suggestions. And the goodwill messages reflect the ambience.
This initiative is awesome. They want to tell us who they are, what they do.
Is to send out a loud statement to the public and to also get the endorsed overbearing commitments of Nimasa.
Most Nigerians have poor perception about customer service and delivery in diverse industries. The internet and social media platforms are inundated with customer complaints about poor quality customer service from one organization or the other.
A delighted customer is a walking advertorial. It goes, talks about your brand and comes back.
Bola and Sheila believe customer service shouldn't be about a department. It should be the entire company. Savicom experts say quality customer service not only builds customer loyalty and retention, but boosts brand reputation and awareness.
It means that these services that are now being provided are hopefully services that will meet all expectations.
Dr. Bashir Jamu says this is the compelling reason for rethinking Nimasa previous service charter. In Abuja, Vivian Izadefi, NTA News.
Bank of Industry supporting micro, small and medium enterprises in Akwa Ibom State in loans amounting to over 1.92 billion naira. At the opening of the Akwa Ibom State Office, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Dr. Olashukbo Olusi, says the amount will soon increase with the new office now in the state. Clement Barikwi reports.
After 65 years of existence, Bank of Industry has brought its services closer to micro, small and medium enterprises in Akwa Ibom State. The move is powered by a new chapter of partnership with the state government, and this is already making the industry operators smile.
We look forward to the collaboration that is coming. We already see many possibilities.
So having a single-digit loan is something that will help us.
The excitement that came with the new Bank of Industry office was yet to fade out when the Managing Director, Dr. Olasupo Olusi, announced a replication of similar offices at local government levels.
I interest you to note that our mandate to create development impact is in harmony with the economic blueprint goals of His Excellency to transform the socio-economic landscape of Akwa Ibom State through sustainable economic growth.
Governor Moino, while promising better days for business operators in the state, announced the opening of a government entrepreneurial support account in the bank with an initial deposit of 2 billion naira.
I knew that one of the best things we could do to encourage enterprise in our state and encourage our young people would be to partner with them to make sure that they have source of good funding.
The Akwa Ibom State Office of Bank of Industry is located at the Smart Building, popularly called Dakada Tower, in Uyo. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has been elected the pioneer chairman of Africa Minerals Strategy Group. The event, which was held on the sidelines of the 30th edition of Investing in Africa in Durban, Cape Town, South Africa, was attended by ministers of mineral development. Speaking at the signing of the resolutions, Alake joined African leaders to forge a common front to get maximum benefits from the mineral resources on the continent. Alake further stressed that the era of carting away solid minerals is over, charging countries on the continent to speak with one voice on a value addition as a prerequisite for investment in the mining sector. The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has alleged that Monday's mass protest against the high cost of living in the country in Mina and Kano, where the machinations of opposition parties aimed at smearing President Tinubu's government. The APC, in a statement, says the protests were manifestations of devious and unpatriotic plots orchestrated and coordinated to instigate unrest and undermine the government, which will not be tolerated. The party said it recognizes the right of citizens to engage in peaceful protests, but urges the people to be vigilant and not lend themselves to the treacherous attempt by the opposition to promote a social disorder. APC says President Bola Tinubu-led administration is committed to doing everything in its power to mitigate the transient pains through reforms that are necessary to economic recovery and sustainable prosperity for all Nigerians. Now let's join Adiola in Lagos for a continuation of the network news. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Olajide. The echo is becoming louder, with more women adding their voices to the global campaign to end the harmful traditional practice often carried out on women and young girls, denying them the right to exercise and realize their full potential. As the world marks this year's zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, stakeholders, especially medical health experts, are conversing for total eradication in meeting the 2030 target. Female genital mutilation, FGM, is a procedure that involves partial or total removal of the external female genitalia or injury to the female genital organs, be it for cultural or any other non-therapeutic reasons. This unhealthy practice, which is deeply rooted in cultural beliefs and perceptions over decades, is also widely recognized as a violation of human rights.
It's not something I would encourage, rather. It's something that I would actually lend my voice to actually stop because of the side effects. The pain that the child goes through, and from what I learned is that even after the child grows up, the woman as a woman, she will not even enjoy sexual relations.
Although the prevalence has been declining over the last 3 decades, there is an ongoing vigorous drive to eradicate female genital mutilation across the world.
I've heard several stories of people that lost their life in the process. It results to bleeding. And even over time, I think ladies, because I actually was not given to, or the procedure was not done on me, but I think ladies with such actually have low self-esteem.
At times it can be infectious if it's not done properly.
Medically, this practice is believed to cause health complications, including severe infection, chronic pain, depression, infertility, and even death.
The way they cut the female genital part, as the child grow up, the area that was cut will heal with scar tissues, and some of them, when they are in labor in later life, the vagina cannot open normally for them to have a normal delivery.
The global campaign for zero tolerance for female genital mutilation is a call to action aimed at increasing awareness of the harmful practice. Over 100 Nigerian returnees from Niger Republic have been officially received by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. Bolaji Akim has the report.
Tear my old documents, national ID card, they tear it. Passport, I get passport because I am not, my intention is to travel to Saudi Arabia.
Ibrahim Daura is one of the returnees from Niger Republic, narrating his experience. To him and other returnees, the Niger Republic experience was traumatic and they will not want to experience such again. The process of bringing the returnees to the country after their uneventful journey in Niger Republic was facilitated by the Nigeria Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons in conjunction with its international partners. Director of Migrant Affairs, Ambassador Catherine Udida, advised Nigerians willing to leave the country to follow approved process.
We try as a commission in collaboration with partners, to provide initial shelter and livelihood support, and so you have training, for them on what skills they want to, attain or acquire while here.
On hand to receive the returnees are representatives of the International Organization for Migration, with a promise to provide the needed support that will enable the returnees to reintegrate easily into the society.
We're going to do some screening just to understand, a little bit of their stories, because we have some very difficult migrants, very vulnerable ones who need more support from us. Sometimes we identify victims of trafficking, sometimes we identify traffickers, so we have to refer them to the law enforcement.
The returnees, made up of 65 children, 45 females and 28 males, who were received at the cargo wing of the Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, will be reunited with members of their families in Lagos. Bolaji Akin, NTA News.
Many thanks for being there. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called on partners, particularly mothers, traditional leaders and community leaders where female genital mutilation still persists, to consider the damage and irreversible health implications inflicted on the girl child. She made a call in a statement to commemorate this year's International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, FGM, under the theme, Her Voice, Her Future, investing in survivors for lead movements to end female genital mutilation. She says the day once again reminds the nation of the responsibility to protect the rights and well-being of the girl child, as she commends first ladies of states and other stakeholders for lending their voices to the fight against female genital mutilation across the nation. More than 180 roads in Maitama, Garki and Utako districts of the Federal Capital Territory are set to wear new looks. This follows the flag-off of the resurfacing of the existing roads and remedial works in these selected districts by the FCT Minister Yesam Wike. Odnoze Yakubu reports.
Minister Yesam Wike, in his remarks, reiterated his administration's resolve to fast-track development at the grassroots, in line with the renewed hope mandate of President Bola Tinubu's administration.
Now we are making sacrifices for those things that were not done before. We are willing now to do it, so there will be inconveniences for you. And the inconveniences will not take a long time. So make sacrifice for us. We are willing to do the work.
I want to also place on record that the Honourable Minister has, in his wisdom, tried to adopt substantially local content engagement.
Stakeholders from the National Assembly and community leaders pledged their support and appeal for more dividends of democracy in the rural communities.
This Maitama district, though a very beautiful settlement, but has a very big challenge in the area of water supply, which need to be rescued and resolved so that the inhabitants can be relieved of digging boreholes. We also appreciate the completion of road between Karshi and Apo axis, so that to reduce the traffic which have been bothering us.
On behalf of the Senate Committee of the FCT, please accept our congratulations for the exceptional work, and we are ready to partner with the Minister.
The contractor handling the project gave his commitment to deliver the work on schedule. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Now let's do some business with Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide, and welcome to Business. The African Development Bank has commenced the first phase of the disbursement of $540 million agro-industrial funds for the development of special agro-industrial processing zones in the country. The Senior Special Advisor on Industrialization to the FDB President, Professor Banji Oyeyinka, says the fund is part of Nigeria's government's efforts towards ensuring food security in the country. And now, the head of technologies for the African Agricultural Transformation Clearinghouse, Dr. Solomon Gizau, says African nations collectively expend approximately $20 billion annually on importing wheat. Dr. Gizau says amid the global disruptions, Nigeria possesses necessary resources to cultivate wheat domestically, not only to sustain itself, but also to supply neighboring African countries. And taking a look at the markets, investors lost 849.10 billion naira as the all-share index depreciated by 1.50%. The total volume traded declined by 41.28% to close at 494.19 million, valued at 7.60 billion naira, and traded in 11,761 deals. Jais Bank was the most traded stock by volume with 90.78 million units traded, while GTCO was the most traded stock by value with 1.32 billion units traded. And at the close of trading, the market recorded 13 gainers, 44 losers, and 63 remained unchanged. That is Business News. Network News continues with Afcon update with
So the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire is in less than 24 hours, and Nigeria became the first nation to reach the Afcon semi-finals with a hard-fought victory over Angola before DR Congo came from behind to beat Guinea 3-1. I'm on the streets of Abuja to find out the predictions and expectations of football fans concerning the Super Eagles and South Africa semi-finals clash.
If you look at the head-to-head between Nigeria and South Africa for the past 7 meetings, they have only defeated us once. That's I can remember 2-0 only, and we have 1 draw. The other 5 Nigeria has won them. So I don't have that fear. So repeat itself. We are going to defeat them tomorrow.
Looking at Nigeria against South Africa, the Bafana, it might seem like we're going to be playing against an inferior team, but I would like Nigeria to keep our fingers crossed because, well, it's not like we are not used to disappointments in Nigerian teams. Super Eagles can be very disappointing sometimes.
The Super Eagles, so much believe in them, so we're going to beat South Africa. There's no doubt. I can even give you the correct score if you don't mind.
What's the score?
2-1 in favor of Super Eagles.
The match is going to be a tough match, but Nigeria will be good as we are watching them. 2-0.
The winner of each semi-final fixture will face off in the Afcon final on Sunday, 11th February, in the Olympic Stadium of Ebimpe in Abuja. Francisca Bilo, NTA News.
Okay, let's go back to Tijani Babangida. Hello, TJ, if you can hear us quickly. Hello, TJ. I think the audio is not allowing us to get across to TJ. Would have loved to hear from him after scoring 2 goals in the 2000 encounter between Nigeria and South Africa. But that's the much we'll be able to bring to you on Afcon update at this moment. Tomorrow is the D-Day. Back to Olajide for the news.
Many thanks, Abdullah Ajia, and you still refuse to give me your prediction of tomorrow's match. Anyways, up next is the weather forecast.
Hello, and glad you could join us for Wednesday's weather forecast. It's dry, dusty and windy, and further deterioration in horizontal visibilities have been recorded in the past 24 hours in more parts of the country, as shown in these visibility values. Going into Wednesday, we expect the northern region to prevail in thick dust haze. You might want to check in on your airline operators as this could lead to delay or cancellation of flights. The north central down to the southern parts of the country are expected to experience moderate dust haze with visibilities ranging between 1 to 3 kilometers and a localized visibility of 1,000 meters or less. The air quality is still very unhealthy and hazardous, so we advise to take necessary precautions and please stay hydrated. That's all for the forecast. I am Theodore Aitum. Thank you for watching.
Well, that's it on the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.